Welcome to On Game Podcast. I'm Cass Clayton, better known as C2, and alongside me I have Marcus Benjamin, my brother, one of the coldest reporters in South Florida, covering recruiting for On3 and Rivals. And together we're putting y'all on game. Benjamin, you ready for this?
I'm ready. I mean, it's been a long time coming for you and I to put this podcast together, and we're boots on the ground reporters, really giving you a journalistic point of view of what it is in South Florida when it comes to football. So we're going to talk a lot of ball. We're going to talk a little Miami Hurricanes here and there, maybe NFL, and just kind of put you on game.
Uncut, some tips and tricks and some gems as well. But let's jump right into it, man. It's week one. Football is back. Thank you goodness. It's been good, but this week has been a busy week. We had some out-of-towners come in and win some games, unfortunately, at the Broward Showcase. So, man, I know you were there.
Yeah. For a couple games.
For a few games. So I mean, it was one of those weekends where we're like, okay, it's some action. I know we had some big games. Just speak on what you saw out there.
Man, just to see football, like you said, was just kind of great. But the Broward Showcase definitely put on a really good show. And we got to see some teams from out of town. Mater Dei, the number one team in the country. And they played St. Thomas, who kind of waves the flag of the best team in South Florida, right? They produced the most NFL players, and they're the 16-time state champion. So they played Mater Dei, and it was looking bleak for that first half, but they battled back. They showed what South Florida teams really do. They went through adversity and really just kind of showed that they weren't going to lay down. So they battled back, but they fell short, But
I saw that.
Overall, I think that was a really good game. I also went to the American Heritage St. Joe's game where American Heritage pulled that out, last-minute field goal to win the game. It was thrilling. Five-star QB Dia Bell did his thing. We'll talk a little bit more about him later. And then I also saw Chaminade get their ass whooped by St. Francis to kind of close out the weekend, which was unfortunate to see. But, hey, it is what it is. Sometimes those humbling experiences help you to grow further, and hopefully that team can grow.
No, most definitely. So we only had one dub out of this weekend from Broward. American Heritage came back and pulled it off. Let's speak on Dia. Dia Bell was the man for that game. He was 16 for 32, 197 yards, one touchdown. Dia Bell was the go-to guy. He made it happen. They came back to speak on that game. What you saw?
Yeah, I thought Dia Bell was not the best in that first half. He had two fumbles, and he put his team in a bad situation where St. Joe's, went out to a big lead in that first half, and they extended the lead in the third quarter as well. So I was talking to other reporters on the sideline, and we were like, they're certainly going to drop out of the rankings after this game is over, and who knows if South Florida is even going to win a game. That was the feeling on the sideline. But lo and behold, Dia Bell engineers a comeback win for Heritage. They were down 28-0 in this game. So they scored 4 touchdowns and was able to get a field goal in the end. So I really liked what I saw from him as far as going through the adversity, having the poise to really kind of help his team win, because there's a lot of quarterbacks that would fold under that pressure or just kind of lay down.
Right.
Like the quarterback on the other side, Charlie Folk, who I hear that Miami's interested in. He looked pretty good in that first half until the second half, where the pressure kind of got to him. It gets a little tight, and you could sense that he got tight in that game. But you didn't see that from Bell. So I really like the fact that the Texas commit really kind of showed his 5-star worth in that game, and really kind of showed that, he can put a team on his back to a victory.
No, for sure. I know you spoke with him after that big win.
I did. I had a chance to kind of speak to him. Here's what he said.
I'm here with five-star Texas commit Dia Bell. Executed a epic comeback today. If you could just tell me your emotions of this comeback.
My emotions, I always keep it level-headed. I was never high, never low. Definitely some doubt that crept in at 28-0, but at the end of the day, I know with me and my guys in the group I have, I can make anything happen, and that's what we did.
What wasn't working in the first half?
Wasn't working. I mean, we just had to get my playmakers in space. We had to get the ball in their hands so they can go make plays. We were trying to do a little bit too much. We kind of found our little sauce at the end of the game in the second half, so we just kind of stuck with it.
You and Jamar Denson really developed a lot of chemistry. Just tell me about your connection with him in this game and how it helped you to win.
Me and Jamar and Corey, all those guys I've been with for 3+ years now. So my chemistry better be good with them, or else we're not doing something right. So I trust those guys to make plays like that. I just need them to be where they're supposed to be at, and then my job is to get them the ball. So as long as we do that, we should be good.
How much has your development as a quarterback in the offseason help you to get this win today?
I wouldn't say most of it is about how I throw the ball or how we look on air. I feel like this is more game time stuff. You just got to be prepared for the moment. Not everybody's built for moments like these, and obviously our guys were built for it, or else we wouldn't have won. But nothing could kind of prepare you for this besides actually playing and being in moments like this. So it's a great learning moment for us and a great adversity moment for us to set us up to be back in that city.
They got it. Thanks to you.
Every South Florida team lost this weekend except for American Heritage. So that comes to a question of, are South Florida teams overrated?
You got to say yeah. South Florida teams are overrated based on the rankings that came out before the season started. Because you had teams like American Heritage, St. Thomas, Northwestern,
Top 25.
Chaminade.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these teams were top 10 teams. And first of all, Chaminade, if you're getting blown out by St. Francis, then yeah, you're not a top 10 team, unfortunately. I think that's a really good team over there in Hollywood, but they're not a top 10 team, not with what we saw on Saturday night. And then the most surprising score to me, Cats, was definitely Northwestern losing to Orange Lutheran. That team out of California was, I think, maybe a top 50 team in the country. And we were thinking Miami Northwestern was the best team in South Florida. Mm-hmm. And they took an L on their home field to Orange Lutheran. So that was the most surprising score for me.
Sure.
Surprising score for me. So just that game alone makes me feel like South Florida is overrated because we thought the West was the best team.
Yeah, we had West as one of the top teams here, and we have West are one of the top teams here in South Florida. But even with that being said, for a team to come out of town and beat them the way that they did was just kind of like, oh, okay. Yeah. So I do think that teams in South Florida are overrated. When we talk about different teams, that a team, South Florida produces skill players. Yeah. Those skill players are very talented. I'm not taking anything away from those talented skill players, but if we're talking overall football, we're talking about up front in the trenches, overall team, it's teams like Orange Lutheran, it's teams like St. Francis that they make those overall teams that come together and can't win just by, skill players. Like, you know what I mean? Right. It has to all come together, and I feel like that is one of the variables that come with South Florida losing the way that they do.
Yeah, South Florida, I think, definitely is one of the top teams when it comes to skilled players as far as wide receivers, running backs, and even defensive backs as well. But I think, first of all, St. Thomas really kind of overperformed because I didn't really expect them to
come back like they did.
Come back and to really have a chance to win against a team like Mater Dei. So definitely shout out to St. Thomas and really just how they battled in that game. So I think they kind of overachieved in my perspective. Some people might say, well, they didn't win. Well, yeah, I get that, but they made this a very close game in the end. So I think the overall kind of perspective that I leave with the Broward Showcase is that South Florida teams can never really be counted out. And during the weekend, they were down by several touchdowns, and I think you can always bet on a South Florida team to play to the final whistle.
Right.
And that's something that I kind of took away from the weekend, and I feel that was best shown with the game that American Heritage played against St. Joe's, where they actually came out with the victory. Thea Bell, like we spoke about, carried his team on his back. Fortunately, I had a chance to kind of speak to him after the game, and he really kind of expounded on how he stayed level-headed throughout the contest.
Love that. On Game Podcast, we're going to give you our top 5 South Florida teams rankings. We're going to start with the top 5 team. Benjamin, number 5, we have...
I'm going to go with Miami South Ridge. Now, even though I didn't see them during the weekend, like South Florida weather, terrible. It's very bipolar. Sometimes it's rain and sometimes it's not in like 5 minutes. And
you know
fortunately,
what we need? We need an indoor
dome,
facility.
right?
We need an indoor facility.
Yeah.
Let's make that happen. Indoor facility.
Yeah, I don't know who we need to talk to make that happen.
There's too many football players that come out of here. Get together. Let's make that happen.
Let's make that happen for real, because, I was supposed to see Southridge and Columbus, 2 teams that I think have a chance to win the state championship this season. And I couldn't see them on Thursday. It was rained out. And then Saturday, they were supposed to have the game. They played a quarter, and now it's rescheduled for Monday. So I really didn't have a chance to see Southridge yet. But based on the players that they have with James Perrone and Trick Proctor and Jakari Johnson and others, they're my number 5 team.
All right. Number 5, shout out to Southridge. Perrone, that's my guy. Number 4, who do we have on the list?
Even though they took a blow loss to St. Francis, you can't really put them out of the top 5. So Chaminade is still, one of the top teams in South Florida, in my opinion. They still have probably the best running back room in South Florida with Derek Cooper, Elijah Hardy, and A1, Arwen Jackson. And the quarterback situation is
the
very
freshman
interesting.
quarterback, Malik Leonard.
Yeah.
Him coming in, he's a gunslinger.
Yeah.
I really like him. I can't wait to see more out of him.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chaminade, number 4.
Yeah, they have to clean some stuff up on defense. They got some ballers on on the defensive side of the ball with Travaris Finley and Tamaris Campbell and others, but they really have to kind of tighten up on that defense for them to really go up in the rankings.
All right, Chaminade on number 4. Who do we have at number 3?
St. Thomas, like I said, I really feel like they overachieved. Mason Mallory, the transfer from West Boca, really kind of showed that he's indeed a dual threat quarterback, because it wasn't a lot of his arm, it was more of his legs that really kind of carried the team. So that's actually a team that is strong up front. They've got some really great guys on the offensive line and the defensive line. But they could use some more skill players or high-level skill players, I guess you could say, to really have them move up not only in the South Florida rankings, but the national rankings.
No, for sure. And I'm super duper proud of Mason Mallory for coming in and playing like he did on ESPN.
Yeah.
Well deserved. He worked very hard in the off season, and it was just his time is coming. So I'm really happy for Mason Mallory, my guy from West Boca. Number 2, who do we have at the number 2 spot?
You got to go with the West, because the defense is still probably the best in South Florida, with a bunch of top-level guys like Jordan Campbell and Desmond Johnson and Tadarius Hughes. These guys are highly coveted players from colleges. A bunch of top players on that side of the ball, including James Johnson, the top defensive tackle. But they should have scored more points than Orange Lutheran. I mean, I'm not sure what kind of happened there. I wasn't at the game, but you're thinking maybe they need more of a running game, because I think that passing game is strong with Calvin Russell and Nick Lanier. So I'm just kind of wondering, why didn't they score more points than that? Was Orange Lutheran's defense really that good? I'm really puzzled by that, but that doesn't knock them out of the top 2 for me.
Right. Okay. According to them, it's supposed to be BTA, but
Yeah.
I guess it was the other way around.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. All right, number one team. Let's do it. We got a new number one.
Yeah, you got to give it to Heritage. They're the only team to come out with a victory, and they arguably, or not arguably, have the best quarterback in South Florida in Dia Bell. So you got to give it to them for pulling out that victory, really kind of showing how strong they are overall on both sides of the ball. So you got to give it to Heritage to be the number one team in South Florida right now. Of course, this is fluid. This could always change, but right now you got to give it to them Heritage boys as number one.
Shout out to Heritage for winning. Somebody had to represent for South Florida. We will be giving our top 5 every single episode, so make sure you guys tune in for the top 5 rankings. This guy, he's on there at every game, covering, recruiting, all that stuff. And you know, your girl C too. I'm always there. So make sure you guys just tune in to that. We will be giving you more of these every single week. College football is back. I'm so excited. The Miami Hurricanes will be opening their season at the Hard Rock against the Fighting Irish, 8:31 Sunday night, 8 p.m. prime time. I am
Let's go.
so ready for that game, Benjamin. Catholics versus convicts.
Yeah.
The last game they played was in 2017. I really hope that this game is as packed, as loud, as great as 2017. I need that.
Yeah, I need that too. I'm really excited for the season, to be honest. To really see if the Miami Hurricanes can continue the success from last year, because let's be honest, last year was disappointing because you had the number one pick in the NFL draft, quarterback Cam Ward, and you can't make the playoffs? Not the playoffs? So everybody who follows the Hurricanes was disappointed in that outcome. So now you have a chance to right your wrongs with Carson Beck, transfer from Georgia. Is it going to happen, or are we going to be disappointed again? Because, you know, I'm of the fan, I guess you could say. We're not supposed to say that because we're reporters, but, you know, we're from South Florida, so I will say that I would like to see the Miami Hurricanes succeed on the level that they were in the championship days. I'm still waiting for it. Is it going to happen this year, finally? Are we going to see a playoff? There's 12 teams in the playoffs. Miami can't be one of the playoff teams? I don't know. We'll see how that shakes out. But game one, what are you most excited about with game one against Notre Dame?
Honestly, I'm just excited to see Carson Beck, because he's a big question, big variable into the Miami success this year. I'm interested to see how all the transfers and the defense is this year.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see how they improve the defense and how good the Miami Hurricanes are. We won't see that until the game.
Yeah.
You know, I've been covering them through fall camp, and I was there in spring as well, and I have high hopes they'll do well, but it's still a big question mark of how well would Carson Beck perform? How well is this defense going to come together with the new DC, Coach Hellerman, new coaches that are there?
Yeah.
How is everything going to gel together? And that's what I'm most excited about, just to see the whole dynamic. I mean, it's Coach Mario Cristobal's 4th year coming in here. Every single year, he's won more and more games. So
Yeah.
we'll see. You know, about the playoff position. I thought that was kind of a little funny business last year anyway, but they did lose to Syracuse. That definitely hurt them, but we shall see. The great thing about this season is the home games are the big home games. So we get to see Florida. We get to see, who else do we get to see here? We get,
Notre
the first game, Notre Dame.
Yeah.
We got Florida. We got some really good. We got Louisville coming. We got NC State coming here.
Mm-hmm.
So the Hard Rock is very busy this year, which is
Definitely.
great. So that will be exciting for me. I don't have to travel
Exciting for us.
Yeah, excited for us. Yeah, most definitely. But yeah, I'm just really excited to see all these guys come together and play ball.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about time. 2017, man, that was the last time they played.
Yeah.
We all knew how that game ended, but that was the era of the turnover chain.
Yeah.
That was the loudest I ever heard the Hard Rock. Like I get chills when I think about that game that year versus Notre Dame. It was just an adrenaline feeling that I'm striving to get. At that point, when that game was going on, I thought to myself, you know what? This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. That feeling that I had on the sideline was nuts.
Yeah.
If I cannot even describe how loud and how I can't even describe it, bro.
Yeah.
But hopefully this Sunday, pack the house. I hear the game is sold out. So
Yeah. How about the Notre Dame quarterback for that game came out and said that it was the loudest he's ever been at a game. It was louder than Georgia, louder than Michigan.
telling you, bro.
You know, so
it was
I'm
loud.
excited
It
to
was
see
loud.
what Hard Rock will sound like on Sunday night. But let's talk a little bit more about the game. So Miami's 2-point underdog, first of all.
Oh, really?
A little disrespectful, I think.
Okay, Notre Dame.
Considering how Miami has never lost to Notre Dame at home.
But you're going against the runner-up championship team.
I get that, but hey, the Notre Dame is going to be starting a player who has never played a college football game before at quarterback. You know, so like the fact that he's going to be at Hard Rock Stadium in his first start, that just seems like it's a recipe for destruction.
Yeah. Nah.
So I just for that alone, I feel like the game plan should be try to let this kid beat you. CJ Carr, who happens to be the grandson of Lloyd Carr, who Lloyd Carr took over for the great Bo Schembechler back in the day at Michigan. So it's funny how he's at Notre Dame, their rival now. But he's going in for his first start at Hard Rock Stadium, where
That's nuts.
Miami fans show up for certain games. You know, like let's call it what it is. Miami fans, we're probably not going to show up for a USF game or Wake Forest game, but Notre Dame, Florida State, they're going to come out in droves and they're going to be loud. So I think the noise is going to be a factor. I think the pressure is going to be a factor as well. I expect Ruben Bain, Hakeem Mesidor, and other young players like Armando Blunt and Justin Scott to really have breakout games in this one and cause a lot of pressure on the young quarterback. They would probably have to game plan around their running back, Love, who I love, but I think as long as you game plan around him, I don't see how Notre Dame scores enough points to beat Miami.
Yeah. Jeremy Love is just one of those guys where, you know, sometimes it just can't be stopped. So I hope that run-stop defense comes to play because Jeremy's not coming to play.
Yeah.
But we shall see 8:31.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Cass. If I'm a betting man, which I am, I feel like you got to put the house on Miami. You know, I'm going to go on record and say it, but I feel like Miami is not only going to cover the little measly 2 points that they're giving them, but I think they're going to win the game outright against Notre Dame. So if you're thinking about wagering on this game, go ahead. Put whatever you usually put on it, because I think Miami's going to not only win this game, but they're going to win this game convincingly to start off the season. Carson Beck, I expect to have a really strong game. He's in a system now that really, I think, accentuates his attributes compared to, you know, where he played at Georgia. And I think the skill players that he's playing with now are better than the ones that he was with in Georgia last year, who led college football in drops last season. So I think the system's better for Carson Beck. I think the defensive line is going to explode on a quarterback who's making his first start. It's a recipe for a Miami win on Sunday night, August 31st.
We shall see. Make sure you guys tune in for that. I know we like to end On Game podcast with some gems. We like to put y'all on game. So for this episode, we're going to put you on game. Benjamin, put the people on game.
Well, over the weekend, I spoke to a close friend of mine who's close to a certain program, and there was some controversy about a player and really just kind of losing his cool in a moment, and now, his future with the team is in jeopardy. So when I heard that, I just kind of thought, like, wow, like, some of these kids are not really controlling their emotions in critical situations, because there's a way to really kind of, use your emotions on the field, right? But don't let your emotions be bigger than the team. Like, you need football. Football doesn't need you. Football is going to continue on, with or without you. Football is going to move on. So I think a lot of players just need to find a way to control their emotions. It's an emotional game. College football is, or football is in general. So I think if you have to take therapy, take therapy. If you have to have just people around you to say, hey, don't go to 0 to 1,000, when something doesn't go your way, then you need to find those people in your corner that really can help you to kind of calm down so you don't jeopardize your future.
Absolutely. I do agree with you on that one. That's a good thing. We see it time and time again, all the time. You are not bigger than the program at the end of the day. You have to watch your temper. In the games, outside the games, on the sideline, people watch. There's eyes on you guys all the time. So we're seeing that. And then on top of that, coaches talk.
Yeah.
So whether it's
Absolutely.
behind closed doors, coaches do talk. So just be conscious of that.
Absolutely. All right, that's gonna wrap it up for the On Game podcast, episode 1 in the books, baby. Look out for this podcast. Subscribe to this podcast on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on Instagram as well. Follow us on social media, Instagram and Twitter as well. Benjamin Rivals, C2, the GOAT over here. Make sure you follow us on social media and look out for this podcast in the future.